And so for me, one of the real big pushes and questions is, do we have infrastructure in place that A, allows faculty and students and staff to manage and control their own data and then share it back and forth maybe through something like APIs or some interface that they can manage and decide, hey, registrar, you want to have my information, my personal information? I'll give it to you for this amount of time, for 3 weeks. At that point, you're cut off. But you control the relationship rather than the other way around. And I think a lot can be done just with some basic ideas of thinking about how people manage their sense of identity online. Ken Lane, who goes by the name of the API Evangelist, and him and Audrey Waters do some amazing work in this regard. One of the things he said that I always found fascinating is, and it's very simple, is take an inventory of all the different sites you belong to online. You have a username and a password. Just do a spreadsheet and link it all. And then ask yourself how much data is out there about you across these various sites. And how much of that can you bring back maybe or control or even just get a password manager. But like for me, the very simple idea of starting to take stock of our dispersed identities across all these different properties that are often corporate is a beautiful beginning point to start rethinking how institutions of higher ed can start empowering and enable folks to think about how digital media, how digital rights, how a digital bill of rights, if you might say, would enable us to start thinking more critically about the world we're creating with all of this data exhaust that's being used to, frame us, to define us, and I don't know. I mean, I'm very interested in that, but I do think it has to be practical and it has to work, and I think it has to be elegant, and I don't think it can be like a computer scientist stream of complicated code. Everybody's now in the command line matrix. Like, it has to be simple. But I go back to the simple point of like, everyone, I believe, or not everyone, because that's a generalization, but most people have things that they value that are digital. Maybe photos of their family and their friends and things they've done, maybe videos they've took, maybe documents that are near and dear for various reasons. And so like, even thinking on some basic level about how we help people think through that notion of the digital as an archive, as a personal, but also as a learning, as somehow linking that back to these are the relics and the archive of your learning. That while you're at the school, we value that, we value your relationship to it, and we want to create an ecosystem and an infrastructure that hopefully not only helps you manage that stuff, but engages you and empowers you to build on it and to use the web as a kind of platform for teaching and learning that goes well beyond your time at this school. And I think that's the point with the web, right? Like, the web is a great either tool or weapon, depending upon how you use it. And I don't think we've spent enough time and energy in education more generally of thinking about it as a tool that we can employ. It often becomes a distraction or something you can't have in class or somehow, lesser quality than true kind of, academic materials that are vetted. And I think, 12, 15 years on, that's all proved pretty much hollow, right? The web is a powerful teaching tool. It's a powerful resource. And if we're not doing more to think about where it goes next, we're failing everybody, including